what they call zoning. You've heard about it. Poverty, onwelu zone. Insecurity, onwelu zone. Unemployment, onwelu zone. As we speak today, the sitting governor is from Anambra South. And the headquarters of insecurity in Anambra State is Anambra South. What a contradiction. You know, at this level, I presume, validly so, that given the level of intellectual liberation we have in this room, that people should not be deceived by primordial sentiments of zoning. Anambra is in trouble. Anambra is facing litany of challenges. We cannot continue to pretend that all is well and hide under the political strategy of zoning. We will put it to test in this election. Anambra must be free. People are tired of stories, and people want sincerity. People want government that will communicate with all sincerity to them. The so-called zoning is an African strategy to hold on to government forever. If they were doing well as we speak, there will be no need for contest. The incumbent administration in Anambra State is not doing well. And if something is not good, it has to be changed. But Chukwuma is out to help in fixing Anambra, and in the Anambra, we must go for change. Onitsha and Nnewi is laden with refuge, and my government will create an opportunity where people will earn money disposing their refuse. Because we're going to turn those waste into wealth. And above all, we must ensure that Anambra, under my watch, as the governor of Anambra State, returns back to rule of law. We must allow our state assembly to be independent, to do their job. We must allow our local government administration to be independent, so that our people will feel the positive vibes of governance. We must ensure that our state civil servants, that we pay serious attention to their welfare. We must ensure but innovation hubs, centers of excellence, where our people can go and learn how to innovate. We must increase the number of patents that we generate from Anambra State, and government will support the commercialization of those patents. As governor of Anambra State, I will tell the Anambra the truth at all times. We must every Anambra the freedom enshrined in our constitution freedom of speech, and freedom to worship however they wish. Mabu governor for everybody. Mandi na joker, manda de joker. And at this point, my dear friends, unu manante na anu ive n'ime. Nti anu we follow bo ejiri ekwe igba. So I don't know how much I know in this room, but the issue, not the message I can hear. I want to pause and then take some few questions, if we have any, and then we may as well bring our event to an end. I thank you all. Dalon.
May we please give him another round of applause. I think there's one thing we need to take away from this discussion. For problems to be solved, they have to be identified, they have to be interrogated, and then solutions must be preferred. If we don't do that, we will be making government pronouncements before interrogating the issue. There's a particular policy in this country. If you remember, there was a time the Nigerian state ran what we call citizen diplomacy. Citizen diplomacy. And the government of Nigeria first announced that the government of the federal government were adopting citizen diplomacy before even convening a meeting at NIA to define what the president may have in mind about citizen diplomacy. And that is why it could not work. This time around, we've been told that every issue has to be put on the table, dissected, decisions taken, and solutions found. Thank you so very much, sir. If I want to start introducing people in this hall today, we will not go. Both on the table and on the other side. I want to thank you so very much for your time. I want to thank you so very much for this. We are open for an interaction, even though we are late. Our intention from day one is to deal with this between the hours of 12 and 1, and then between 1 and 2, we'll talk to it. At least for once, let us, as members of the academic community, not be addressed in the marketplace or in a WMS square. We want to be given our due values. We may not be the best, but if you make us feel like the best, we will start thinking like the best. And if we think like the best, we will give out the best. And if we give out the best, our society will become the best. So thank you for giving us this value back. Thank you so very much. If anyone invites us again at Onisha, we will not go. Choice for academics, why na Unizik, or why no na IEJ, why na Bariam na IEJ, where you will address the university, the higher institutions, for na ekenti or the aina ekenti. You don't win, you don't win. I had a agree on egu, like you said, maybe in the I know ya. Onye New York more poor call money, and when they natch by only on if you give us value, we will add value back to you. We will multiply it and give it back. You have given value to academics and to the institutions of higher learning, their staff in Anambra State. I had 1 million here. We will multiply the value and give it back. Governor. You will come back to this hall again. So that we'll be talking. If you want to talk security, any issue that comes up in security, we may not be security men, but we also talk security. Economy, we have economists. It may not only be professors. I am a town and gown connector here. then we'll come out with the best policy on security, best on economy, best on marketing and everything. And you have given us the reason to believe that you will do that by coming here to see us. Thank you very much for that. He said, lunch is served. Of course, lunch, I will go dinner. People came from Umunze. Yeah, let me also tell you, sir. In this hall, Anyinwalo staff that came both organized with vehicle and drove in individually from the Federal College of Education Umunze. As far as Umunze, not less than 3 buses or more, and the private vehicles came here just to listen to you. From Federal Polioko, how many buses? That came to listen to you. So and we will not keep them for too late because those vehicles will still take them back. And the so I now address the name interaction. Again, in this hall, in the list I have, I know about even though now the union did a strike yesterday, and very many persons are protesting. What you are doing is not academic at all. This is a political interaction. My name and all they are only idiosyncrasy the each. Oh, when they open a video strike, when I would man Larry. Some persons said because they're on strike, they won't even listen to anybody. Otherwise, there could be something else today. But we thank God that we are breaking any union rules. So, open on 1 year address. I drop on what I can ever take here our lunch. Can be another way waking alone. Okay, Professor Abamara, because I can airline okay, address it. Okay, take it. Okay, please come. After question, more second. I'm monkey can hear. Which am I the one when you want them? What
okay, thank you, Your Excellency, in advance, Your Excellency, Sir Paul Chukwuma. I thank you so much for that wonderful rendition. I listened with keen interest of what you have been said, what you said, even though I came a little bit late. But I have a major concern when you talk about the welfare of civil servants and public servants in Anambra. You see, I came to this work as a young lecturer in 2007, right from University of Ibadan. I came. And when I came here, I think I enjoyed the Oka environs and atmosphere then. You see, and then the housing here was quite cordial to public servants and civil servants. But nowadays, if you look around, you see that civil servants, public servants can no longer pay for young civil servants, young academics can no longer pay for housing here in Oka and environs. And when Oka is not a place for oil workers, like Port Harcourt or maybe Delta. Do you know that a flat here in Oka goes to now about 1 million plus? 2.5 plus, depending on the area. You see, and this is a burning issue to some of these civil servants, young civil servants. Though some of the professors may have their houses. After many years of service, they may have built, but out of the younger civil servants and public servants, they can no longer rent houses. They can no longer rent houses from their meager resources. If you become a governor, please, how can you address the issue of exorbitant accommodation here in Oka environs? How will you address that? Thank you. I see the man, Professor N.C. Bamara of the Department of Psychology, Faculty of Social Science and Nazigo University here in Oka. Thank you.
Very fundamental question. Very fundamental question. And what Okay, well,
Thank you, His Excellency. My name is Irebu Chukwuma from Federal Polytechnic, Oko. Your Excellency, my question will be around agriculture. Your Excellency, the cost of food in the marketplaces are so exorbitant. Food insecurity has been one of the major issues we Nigerians are facing, even particularly us, the academians. Your Excellency, what will be your policy towards agriculture? Currently, I have not seen any strategic standing policy in agriculture in Anambra State. What are we doing to guarantee that? What will you do, Your Excellency, if you emerge as the governor of Anambra State? Thank you.
oh, thank you very much. This is actually what we've come to do. This is exactly what we want to experience.
Thank you. My name is Ajali John Jones from Chemical Engineering Department, UNIZIC. Okay. I said my name is Ajali John Jones from Chemical Engineering Department, UNIZIC. Sir, I listened to you keenly over the things you've enumerated you would do if elected a governor. And they are wonderful, and I appreciated that. I want to thank you for that. But I have just a little question, which is, how do you intend to generate the fund to carry out these projects you want to do, so that we will stand to believe you more? Because I know that depending on federal government allocation may not be sufficient to carry out these projects that you intend to do. So could you enlighten us the more, or highlight how you intend to generate the fund? Thank you.
Nice question. Yes. Just one more. He will answer. We can take.
Your Excellency, sir, please, I want to ask a very simple question. It seems as if you'd write more. University of Ekoka. And we are here in an academic environment, sir. As the tentative visitor to one of the universities, KOU, how do you tend to manage all those pre-colonial courses that you just mentioned? Does it mean that we are going to lose our jobs? Only those pre-colonial courses. Please, it's a matter of concern to me. I wish you can address this, sir.
Okay, so this is being quite interactive.
Okay. Yes. Do I have your permission to start from the last? Okay. You are worried about losing your job, right? The fear. Are we listening? The fear of losing your job, I did not touch on it. What you'll be afraid of is the impact and the effect of artificial intelligence. That should worry you, and that will be in relation to losing your job. But with regard to what I said, we need to see to a well-structured disruption in our academic system. Our academic system, the way it is today, whether you're looking at it from the point of view of the curriculum, or you are looking at it from the point of view of the quality of education, or you are looking at it from the point of view of lack of corresponding quality research, we need to review our education system. Our education system is no longer fit and proper for the modern reality that we face. That's my position. And bringing it home, there is no course, no subject that is not important. But what is important for us now is that we're able to keep our economy afloat, is that we're able to meet our obligations as a people, as a state. And to do that, there are more subjects that should be of interest to us, more than the others. Now, have you asked yourself, if you take a roll call of those that are in the banks as staff, how many of them studied banking and finance? You'll find out that they are about 10% or 15%. The rest studied all manner of courses, ranging from botany to geography to English. And then you ask yourself, what is the essence of studying those courses if you don't have a plan of having a career or in a related field? Now, we need skills. We need to innovate. We need to engage. We need to become competitive in the global market. We cannot do so with the level of education and the quality of education we are getting. That we need to de-emphasize. For instance, why are we having the dichotomy between the graduates from the university and graduates from the polytechnic? So there's a misfit, and it needs to be addressed. That was the point I wanted to make. And as government, we need to increase scholarship. Some of the courses where we need to pay attention to, parents may not be able to keep up to that in terms of the fees. So government needs to come in. We need to increase our bursary. We need to grant scholarships. Why are we having the Anambra as we speak that cannot pay for JAMB and for WAEC? Anambra people have been burdened with incessant, huge burden of taxation. All the akodo esigo na kitchen poor by na marketplace. These are the things we intend to stop when I take over as governor of Anambra State. Now, we talk about, my friend the professor asked about how do I sustain some of these things we're talking about. Are we listening? How do we sustain what we are talking about? Number one, some of the issues we raised, if you listen attentively, the money is already there. For instance, security. We don't need to bother ourselves about security. There's money for security. The problem is that it's being misappropriated. That's what we are saying. We talked about the seaport. We talked about the industrial parks. The industrial parks, for instance, government must not do anything, everything. The business of government is to create an enabling environment for private sector to thrive. Anambra State has the richest private sector in Nigeria. What this government has failed to do is to bring them together and give them a reason why a public-private partnership should work. My government will leverage a lot on public-private partnership. When we are talking about building industrial park, we are not going to build the physical park as government. What we need to do is to map out the land and ensure that we sign CFOs to entrepreneurs who have got the resources to build this park. And we create access roads and we create enabling environment. That's what government needs to do. And I must tell you, if you calculate today how much money this government has received in the last 3 years and what the government has done, you'll find out that the money we received, 80% of it has not been utilized. Where are those monies? The first thing is to first of all apply the money available to us before we start looking for additional. And in looking for additional, we will deal in a multifaceted approach in terms of project financing. And the key component is public-private partnership. Government has no much business owning any business, but government will create the climate environment for entrepreneurs to engage. In Anambra State today, every community has got at least one certified billionaire. What we need to do is to bring them together and know the areas of interest, and government will facilitate the needful, and then we have a robust economy. We talked about, my brother talked about the food, how expensive food has become in Anambra State today. And you know, the reason is very simple. First of all, I come from a place where we have the capacity to feed the entire state, the Anambra region. But the government has failed to even create access road that will connect to the farms where these foods will come out. Government has failed to invest in mechanized agriculture where we can increase our yield. Government has even compounded the problem. Even the few assets we have, when you are taking the food, the agricultural products, the farms to the market, you will meet with more than 10 different government agencies that are levying one form of tax or the other. By the time you finish paying this produce, that you find out that you cannot sell without covering your costs. So you plow back those costs you have paid to government. So government is responsible for the high food price we are experiencing in Anambra State. Under my watch, we'll do the needful and the price will come down. We talk about housing. Of course, I've said, you don't have two things that you have to go hand in hand with the civil servants. One is the housing. We need to have low-cost housing for lower people that are earning very low salary, and then medium-cost houses for all civil servants. And it's not enough having the housing. We must also ensure, because to buy a liter of petrol today is very expensive. So we must also provide transportation for our civil servants, so that they are moved from one point to the other, and then it will be easy for them to compete. Because the salary they are being paid is nothing to write home about, and that is part of the problem. Thank you.
It's becoming quite interesting and engaging. And like he told me, he will stop answering the question when you stop asking. For as long as you have an issue that you want to raise it. But then after, discussion continues. In and out of season, within this environment, through the campaign office, through their different media handles, you can raise issues, because sometimes when you ask questions, someone who hadn't prepared something very concrete on that, or might have prepared something within that area, will take more idea from you. That makes the interaction. Nobody knows it all. And that's one thing he said when he was talking. Not being a professor does not mean that he will not know the much he will do. But being a professor does also not mean that you know everything. So, if there are questions to take, if there are that people are already, Professor Patrick.
Your Excellency, sir, by God's grace, I remain Associate Professor Patrick from Chemistry Department. My question is this: among the things you promise is independence of the local government, what in other words we call the autonomy of the local government. We are all in Anambra, and I can remember vividly the last election conduct by ANSEC in Anambra State. If you call it selection, it's even a better language than election. And one of the ingredients to support autonomy or independence of the local government, the conduct of the local government election. Because local government serves as the grassroots for general development. So having said that, my question goes, how are you going to ensure that what transpired in form of, in quote, selection in the conduct of the election of local government, how are you going to ensure that what transpired in the last election or selection will not repeat itself to ensure the independence, as you said, for the local government? And second part, how are you going to ensure that the allocation of the local government, you allow those that are elected or selected to be independent in spending the local government fund? And lastly, but not least, there is current agitation that the conduct of election at local government level should be handed over to INEC rather than ASIEC. How will you support that agitation to move the conduct of election from ASIEC, as Anambra State is concerned, to INEC to support the independence and autonomy of local government? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. There are 3 questions here, and the last one is a constitutional matter, and that's the issue of moving election from ANSEC to INEC, and that is if everybody supports moving it to INEC. As it stands, some of us who are in this area are also challenging that argument. I don't know what gave INEC the authority of independence and that took it away from the state. So we should strengthen our process and not moving it to INEC. The 2 questions that are very important here is independence of the local government and then autonomy to use their fund. That's all.
The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, being a grassroots Democrat, has championed the full independence of the local government tier of government. And we agree that the moment you have a robust local government system, development gets to the masses at the grassroots. The moment you hijack the resources of the local government, then you are running a system where the people are totally alienated from the business of governance. Now, in Anambra today, we have a shame, what appears to be a huge shame to democracy, with what happened during the so-called local government election that you alluded to. The government of the day decided to make themselves Lord and Master, the supreme law of the land, in every respect. That's what played out. And that was why we are still suffering in the state the way we are suffering. Because they sat down and selected names and then announced. That's the problem. And then it is within this context that the argument of having the Independent Electoral Commission taking over the supervision of local government election finds expression. Because you cannot, that couldn't have been possible under an INEC-controlled election. You cannot sit in the comfort of your living room and begin to announce who becomes the local government, regardless of how and what the people feel. Realizing that they were not elected by the people, these fellows can afford to do whatever they like. And that is why we are where we are today. That will not happen under my watch. I will make sure that we give the local government the opportunity to elect whomever they wish will be in a better position to champion the cause of the local government. And we don't need the local government funds other than using it by the elected local government administration to work for the local government in their locality. So this is very clear, and that's been part of our argument. And I told you that not doing so has led to the problem of insecurity we have today in Anambra State. But never mind, anything that has an expiring date is already solved. These problems, the expiring date is known. By March next year, Paul Chukwuma will be declared the governor of Anambra State, and all these problems will be solved. Thank you. Do we have any other question?
I would rather ask for a vote of thanks.
Okay. Permit me therefore to thank each and every one of us. It's been an engaging afternoon, which has already dovetailed to the evening. So I would like to say thank you. Like I said, this is also part of my community. Not just because of the qualifications that is attached to my name, but also because I've done a lot in education, both as a pro-chancellor and founder of a private university, and also as a pro-chancellor of and chairman of governing council of a public university. So I've seen the two aspects, and I know that if we get our education system right, part of our problem in Anambra State will be solved. As we pay attention to the formal citadel of learning, I also invite you not to discount the informal, the developmental target we have for Anambra State. God bless all of you. God bless Anambra State. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
May I please invite Professor Guago for a vote of how we feel. Yes, a vote of how we feel.
Your Excellency, Chief Sir Paul Chukwuma, Onwa Umweri, you've done a marvelous, treatise to us today. Let me first of all thank you for coming to your community, because this is where you belong. You were bold enough to explore the other sector, the informal sector, and you did very well. But you're still part of the university system. You own a private university. You are chancellor. Yeah, you are also chancellor at Benue State University, right? So you are one of us. I hope that nobody feels bad when he was extolling the qualities of Nkwonewi and Nkwo and all of them. It is important we integrate properly. As a matter of fact, one of the things we are trying to do here is to move the gown to the town. And that's what you're emphasizing. You said everything, so I don't want to add anything to what you have said. My prayer is that your wish will be achieved, so that we'll smile together. You have a marvelous thing to do for the state. I pray that it's going to come very fruitful, so all of us will smile. You would have brought, at the end of the day, you would have brought people in academics close to the people on the other side, and we live together. And that's what the society is looking for. Thank you for your vision. Thank you for your vision. I want to thank all the members of the High Table for being part of this trip. We thank you. I hope it's not going to be your last time of coming. I will suggest that the Jaja's Institute, would arrange for another discussion so that you will meet the wider university. I'm sure that everybody here would like to listen to you. Thank you for coming, sir. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you. You're welcome. Come again. Thank you.
I think with this, that brings to an end the interaction for today. And without any other process, we didn't start with a prayer, but it will not be bad if we end with a prayer. Sir? Okay, the anthem is a prayer. All right, so the DJ, are you ready? We want to end this interaction with a national anthem. Without disrupting people eating, may we please take an anthem for Nigeria? National anthem, please. Thank you very much.